This is episode number 158 of the Homeowner Show. Whether you're a DIY or looking to hire, we're here to help you find the best information and options for you and your home. My name is Kevin Hackett, and here with me is Craig Williams.
Hello, and welcome to the Homeowner Show. We're glad that you could join us for another live episode here from the Homeowner Show studios. Welcome back, Kev.
Yeah, well, dude, I just can't seem to be here enough.
Yeah. What do you have to say for
like,
yourself?
Well, it just kind of is what it is, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's football season. That's part of it. And then I was out of town for a little bit. So, anyway, I should be back for the duration at this point.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Everyone was asking about the Tupperware party that you were a part of.
Well, let me tell you, that we did plenty of Tupperware things. I bought lots of things.
Good.
Now I'm stocked up.
Nice.
So it is what it is.
You got lots of the red and clear plastic in the bottom drawer now.
Yeah. Well, it's fantastic stuff.
You were really womaning it up for the last 2 weekends. Tupperware party, wedding.
Yeah, no beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you in the wedding?
Yes, I was in the wedding.
Which side of the?
Well, I was the one that introduced the couple.
Matron of honor?
Yeah, no, I was responsible for this thing.
Okay.
Without me, they would have never met. So that's the way that happened.
Nice.
So anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good deal.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. There has been some crazy developments in the bee world.
Oh.
In the last couple of weeks. So two things. One of my guys found a colony of bees in a hot tub. And when I say a hot tub, like not like a freestanding hot tub, like a rock surrounded hot tub.
Oh no.
And there was a gap between two of the rocks, and the bees are flying into the gap in the hot tub.
Oh, so this is like a nice outdoor,
yes,
really fancy like pool area.
Yeah.
All that. Wow.
And so they're like, we don't want to kill the bees, and we agree.
Good.
And so we're like, we got to figure out how to open this rock up. Because it's hollow underneath there.
Okay.
And I think on this pool, a lot of people don't realize this. If you have a salt pool and then you have like natural rock that you put in around it, that salt water will actually hollow out the rock behind the surface of the rock.
Oh, so you have to do some sort of like a filler back there to make sure that doesn't happen?
No,
or is
you
it
just need to not have a salt pool.
Oh,
That's the answer.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other one is a friend of mine sent me a article from a small town news station where a little 4-year-old girl discovered a colony of bees, which doesn't sound all that impressive.
Right.
Except for it is a stingless colony of bees.
What?
Yes. I'll try and find the link to the story. I think I've got it on my Facebook. I'll try and bring it over to our page, and we'll put a link in the show notes. But it was a species of bees that the United States decided to experiment with, I think back in the 1970s.
Okay.
And so they brought I think it was 10 colonies over to the U.S., and they split them up between 3 different sections of the country. And one was California, and the other one was somewhere in the middle of the United States, and the other place was the East Coast. And none of them did well, and I think they were from South America.
Okay.
But they were looking to see if they could develop a very productive honey and pollinating species of bees in the U.S. that didn't sting.
Okay.
Which you could see why that could be really valuable. Because, if you're an apiarist or a beekeeper or whatever, if you have to go out and tend your bees and you don't have to wear a bee suit, that makes it way better. Well, the bees did terrible, and so they completely abandoned the project. Well, apparently one of the colonies of bees in California had gotten out, and they just forgot about the project for the last 50 years. And this little girl found these bees in a tree and was like, hey, and she's 4. And she's like, hey, these bees look different than other bees. And so they contacted the local, every county has different people that oversee different parts of the environment for that county. And so they called the local entomologist and hey, we got something over here this little girl found, looks really different. And so he came over there and he was like, this species of bee doesn't exist here. It doesn't even exist in the U.S. And then he started doing his homework, and he was like, hey, we introduced these back in the 70s.
Oh my goodness.
And they just must have been, surviving, and so it's possible that there's more of them there.
Yeah.
But they didn't think that they could survive even in that climate, and apparently they're doing pretty well. So
Wow.
they're looking for more, but she found the one.
Did they say how big the colony was?
Oh, it was a big colony.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
it was inside of a tree.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So and it's a pretty cool little story. I mean, I'll try and link it up on the page. But I love that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah. Well, we are bee people over here. We like the bees.
Well, there's 6 colonies right over there.
We've got a ton of them right out there. But they're very good.
Yeah, and these are the friendliest bees I've ever had.
Really?
This is the first set of bees that I've ever had where I have no fear of like opening the top and just looking in.
Which bodes well for you since you put it on this side of the fence, exactly where your wife didn't want them.
Yeah, and now she loves it.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, which just goes to prove I'm always right.
Okay.
I'm confident in saying that because she doesn't listen.
She doesn't listen. Nope.
And tonight will probably be the one night that
no, I don't believe that's true at all.
Yeah,
she won't listen.
Did you see the comment from Lisa?
No, I didn't.
No, pull that up.
Okay. Oh yeah, Lisa.
Can you bring it up on the screen?
Yeah. Yep, I did.
There we
just
go.
Now.
Lisa says those are my kind of. Me too, Lisa.
Yeah, those are the ones for sure. So we got a cool episode tonight, man. I'm excited about this.
Yes. This And our guest is going to actually have to remind me how we even got connected. I think I reached out. I can't remember if he reached out.
Okay.
But we've got Josh Stutt from Pickle.
Pickle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which they don't make pickles.
No, not at all.
No. But they have developed something really, really cool that I actually just signed up for.
Okay.
So, Josh, welcome to the show, man.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, we're glad that you're here. We're interested to dig into this a little bit because I think on the outset people are like, pickle, what's that? So I think let's start off here. Tell us a little bit about you and whatever it is, just to let us get to know you a little bit, and then feel free to jump into Pickle and what it is and what we need to know.
Yeah, sure. Again, thanks for having me. Craig dropped us a line on Facebook.
Did we lose him?
We couldn't say no, so that's how we're here.
Hey, Josh, back up like 5 seconds. I think we lost audio there for just a second.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Something cut out for. So you were last thing we heard was that you and Craig connected over Facebook. That's it.
Yep. So he dropped us a line, said, hey, just saw this, would love to talk to you guys. If you'd like to come on the show, we'd love to have you. And we couldn't say no. So that's how we got connected. Not as interesting as stingless bees, which that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my background, so I've been in digital marketing, e-commerce, working mostly with startups for the bulk of my career. Little over 2 years ago, I got hooked up with this team called NG Launchpad, and said, "Hey, we're developing this thing called Pickle." And immediately, the name was like, "Whoa, what's that?" And originally, Pickle was built to go into the direct-to-consumer home insurance space, because there was this understanding that everyone needs home insurance, but no one pays it any mind. No one really understands it. So we thought, well, there's an interesting problem we might be able to solve. In building it out and doing a little bit of testing, what we really learned was that the gap in understanding wasn't about home insurance. It was about home care. There was just a real disconnect with homeowners, particularly first-time homeowners, and knowing how do I take care of my home? What do I have to look out for? What do I have to do? Ounce of prevention, pound of cure thing. How do I make sure I don't have big problems? So we stopped doing the insurance thing and said, we can solve a much bigger problem by giving people a very simple, streamlined, easy to use way to take care of their home. And thus, Pickle was born. And that's kind of where we arrived at the point we're at. The whole goal of it being to just put together the simplest and smartest way to care for your home. Have it all in one place, have all the tasks you need, give you step-by-step guidance on what you need to do the tasks to take care of your home, and really just try and help people make their home a happy place.
Yeah, so first of all, that sounds really, really cool. A really quick story here. So the first time we bought a house, my wife and I, we found a house we really liked. The price was really good, and there was a list of things that came back on the inspection that needed to be done. We talked to our realtor about it. I didn't understand really most of the things that were on the list. But she was like, look, these are all pretty easy to fix. I wouldn't go in and putting contingencies on this thing. Like, go ahead and buy it. So that's what we did. I did not look at that document for probably 4 years, and that's probably very common. People just don't think about it. But along the way, I would see something, I'd be like, oh, that needs to be fixed, or I need to work on that, or we need some more insulation in my house, or the gutters are falling off over here, this, that, and the other. And I just kind of started recognizing things that needed to happen. I went back and found that document, looked at it, and realized, oh, I'm not as bad with owning my home as I thought I was. But I would guess that the majority of people, they're more apt to let things go and just not be. Part of it's just, I don't know how to fix that. I don't want to fix it. All of those sorts of things. So this sounds like it's a real good go-between for someone like me who started off, just bought a house, didn't know what to do, to give me some information on how to do that. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, I think you're really spot on with it. It's kind of just a way to get everything in one place for everything you need to do to look after your home. And it can go from simple tasks like cleaning out your dryer. One of the interesting things I've learned through this is that, do you know there are over 29,000 home fires a year caused by dryers which have not been properly cleaned out?
Wow.
And it's a problem you wouldn't think of. But then all of a sudden, middle of the night, you've got the dryer running, and boom, there's a fire. Now you've got a real problem on your hands. So stuff like that, to being able to check the foundation, being able to recognize when you've got an insulation issue. So it's been built as a way to help you identify those simple everyday tasks that you just might not realize you need to do, as well as some of those larger, more advanced things that guys like you may be familiar with, but someone like myself who, admittedly coming into this was very ignorant about home care. This is a way for us to learn about it as well. So all encompassing, all under one roof, and all free.
Oh, wow. So what would you say the biggest challenge is for someone who is owning their home, sees a problem that needs to be fixed? What's the biggest challenge between those two things? I see a problem, or maybe I don't even know that I have a problem, to actually getting it fixed. Do you see that there's a disconnect there somewhere in a way to fix it?
Definitely. I think what we recognize, though, is that the big disconnect comes at the first part of that, is recognizing the problem before it is a problem, and taking the steps that you can take to prevent those problems, because that's really how you get ahead of the game and identify things before they become big issues and cost you a lot of time and cost you a lot of money. So that's the disconnect that we really want to try and shore up. But then definitely on the knowledge of how to deal with it, what we've done to try and bridge that gap as well is to break everything down into very simple step-by-step guides. So when You go to highpickle.com, you create your free account, you get your task list. If you look at any of the tasks on there, it's not just hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, whatever. You can go into any of the tasks and it will give you very simple, very plain English. In the future, we'll have some more videos and visual aids to help with it on completing those tasks. And if it's something that is generally too advanced for a lay person such as myself or your typical homeowner, we'll say, hey, maybe you need to look for a professional for something like this. So we really want to bridge that knowledge gap on the front end of identifying a problem before it's a problem that costs you a lot of money, costs you a lot of time, endangers your home because 29,000 house fires a year are caused by dryers that haven't been properly cleaned. And spotting those things beforehand, and then how you deal with it when you recognize something needs to be done.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Josh, I wanted to. So I actually signed up for Pickle a few days ago. I wanted to see kind of like what the onboarding process was. I wanted to see kind of what it did. And I did it on my mobile phone, and I want everybody to know. I mean, like it's not an app, but the website functions very much like an app. And I assume that was very intentional.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of discussion back and forth in the genesis of it. And, we all know that this is easier to digest for people as a phone app, right? We live in an app world. It's always easier to say, hey, go to iTunes, go to the Play Store, download the app. But when we thought about what our mission was, and that being to provide the simplest and smartest way to help people take care of their homes and to help out as many people as possible, we knew the best way to do that from the beginning was to make it browser-based. Because then we didn't have to say, okay, well, we're going to build an iOS app first and then leave all the Android people out in the cold, or vice versa. We didn't want to do that. We wanted everyone to have access to the guides, to the care, to all that great stuff right from the jump. So right now it is browser-based. If you look at the FAQ section on highpickle.com, we explain how to get it bookmarked on your phone's home screen so it can function just like any other app. It's designed to function like a native app, like you were saying, so you wouldn't even know the difference. But very high up on our to-do list is to build the native apps on both Apple and Android platforms.
I mean,
it's the number one question we get hands down. It's, why can't I find this on the App Store? Or is this an app or whatever?
Yeah, and I mean, when you're on the website, it very much feels and functions like an app. And that, I think that's actually a good point. Is I don't know that a lot of people know that if you have a website that you use on a regular basis, you can set that up to function like an app on your home screen, at least on Apple. And I assume you can do the same thing on Androids.
I mean it's for I don't know about Android, but for Apple it's as simple as going down to there's the little share button at the bottom of a website.
It's the square with the arrow.
The little square with the arrow. Click that and scroll up a bit and go add to home screen, and boom, that website is now on your your screen as an app. So you can just press that app. So that's a way to do that pretty easily. So
Yep, it's pretty straightforward on both platforms.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I guess one of the questions that I want to get to before we get too far, where did the name Pickle come from?
Nothing to do with sandwiches, as much as I love them. It's not a food-based name. It really just came from trying to solve a problem in the home and the recurring theme of I don't want to get caught in a pickle. So no one wants their living situation or their home situation and to feel like they're stuck in a pickle. So we said, well, let's go with Pickle because we'll help you stay away from that. And then, just from a marketer's perspective, it's short, easy to remember. I say highpickle.com. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, easy enough. So, pretty straightforward along those lines. And it's, we like to think it's a little bit catchy.
No, it really is. It's really funny because our friend Lisa, who was talking about the bees earlier. I'll just put this up here. She wrote in and said, "Please tell me your tagline is don't be left in a pickle, join Pickle." So yeah, it kind of is. So
she saw what you were doing there.
Yeah, she did. That was.
You're gonna put me out of a job.
Well, hey, no, it's all good, man. It is. It's a very catchy title on everything. So that's really good. So I guess the next question that I've got is help me understand how the website works a little bit. So we don't have a screenshot here that we can put up necessarily, but for those that are listening, what's kind of the user interface? What are you going to get whenever you go to the website? Whenever you see it, what types of things are on there? I mean, you mentioned dryer, those sorts of things. What are some other things?
Wow, we've got just a whole slew of tasks. We continue to add them on the regular. We actually just added another 15 tasks to the platform earlier today. So we're always trying to expand on what it can do for you in your home. But if you go to hipickle.com, you'll get some basic information about what Pickle is, what it does, a little bit about the team. You'll see my lovely profile on there. But you can click the join free button, so easy enough. Real quick sign up. We'll ask you for an email address, home address. You don't need credit card, like I said, totally free. So you'll sign up, and that'll take you to the actual app itself. And I believe the direct URL for that is app.hipickle.com. But when you go in there, you'll get a complete guide and task list that is built specifically for your home. One of the really great things about what we built, at least in my opinion, is originally starting out on the insurance side, we got access to a lot of great information and databases. So when we have a home address, we can pull out of public data records. We know historical insurance information about it, not about like you and your home, but about the address. So, we know crime rates, weather patterns, school ratings, all that good stuff. So with that and the little bit of information that we ask you to provide as a user, we build a custom home plan specifically tailored just for you, just for your home. No two users are going to have the exact same pickle.
Wow.
So when you join and you're on there, you'll get a task list. And as I said, we continue to add to them all the time. We just put 15 more up today. Things like checking the stucco. Actually, the cleaning the dryer was one that came up today. So there's a wide variety of simple to more advanced to interior to exterior. And those are given to you on a timing. It's not just a list of here's everything you need to do. It's here's this task. You need to do this once every 3 months. Here's this task. You need to do this once a year. Smoke alarms twice a year, so that you can almost have like a schedule and a constantly updating list. And we built this little icon at the top of it with an avatar of your home. And as you complete more tasks, you'll see that the home gradually smiles and smiles more. So nice. You can have your happy home score. So we try to gamify it a little bit, because one of the things we decided is, you'll always hear me say home care, and I'll never say home maintenance, because maintenance kind of feels like a task. It feels like work, right? But care is something that you do out of love because you want to, have more joy. So we wanted to build a home care app. So that's why you get this little icon, and it smiles more as you do more tasks, and confetti rains down. So we wanted to make it a fun and engaging experience that, cleaning your dryer out isn't the most fun thing in the world. Testing your smoke alarm isn't, woo, I get to test the smoke alarm. But, we wanted to add a little fun and excitement and a little gamification to it, so that you'll be motivated to have your little happy home icon smiling wide when you log in. And that, hey, I'm doing everything I can to give my home all the care I possibly can.
No, that's great.
Yeah, one of the things that really jumped out to me about the way that this works is that you do sort of combine into a list the things that you need to be doing, weekly, monthly, annually, every 6 months. And the thing about, I think most people are pretty good, like, if they're slightly organized, could remember to do monthly tasks on their home. But when you start getting into some of the tasks that are really important that only need to be done once every 6 months, it's really difficult to get those on a good regimen. Because if it only needs to be done every 6 months, well then what's 8 months or 9 months or and so it becomes easier to push those tasks off. Whereas something like this, will kind of keep you on a schedule that makes it a little bit more regimented for you to keep your house healthier.
Yeah, so I got a question specifically related to that, and that is how. So when there is a task that needs to be done, am I alerted by the app or by the website by Pickle through an email or a text message or something that tells me it's time to now do something?
You definitely will be in short time. One of the drawbacks of going to the browser base as opposed to the native app is, we didn't have the ability to send direct notifications. So we couldn't ping you on your phone like, hey, today's the day to check out and make sure your basement, all the seals are good. So that is something that will definitely be a part of the native app when it's built. And we're currently in process of building browser notifications in. So even if you're not sitting there on highpickle.com all day like I might be, we can still ping you and give you that notification like, hey, you got to do this today. And even if you're not on for a week, we can still hit you with that. Because like you were saying, it is really important. If you go on to Pickle today and you see, I got to do this once every 6 months, and you just forget about it because if it's 6 months, with 7 months, once 8 months, and then all of a sudden, oh crap, I got a $25,000 problem on my hand. It would have been much easier if I had just done this every 6 months. We want to make sure we can deliver that to you at the right time and make sure that every user gets the right notification at the right time for the right task. So definitely coming soon because we know how important that is.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that I hear is, this just we're really on the front end of this this system and this way of doing things, but which is really cool for those of our people that are listening and watching right now. Hopefully they'll be able to kind of get in on the ground floor. In fact, one of our friends, Megan, even put up here that cleaning your vents in your kitchen is important, with the grease and the filters because it becomes a fire hazard. So, there's all sorts of things that need to be done around your house that just you don't think about because it's just I use my home and then I go to work and I come home and I go to bed and all those sorts of things,
Yep, exactly. You don't think about it because either you don't know or, you've got work, you've got kids, you've got school, you've got life, and life happens. And when life happens, you may not remember to check, your kitchen tile grout for mold. And then, one day you've got a big problem on your hands or, God forbid, you develop a respiratory issue because you let the mold go too long.
Yeah.
So, it is a major driver for us to make sure that we have all those little things that people don't, necessarily think about or remember to do all the time. But like you were saying with Megan's comment, thank you, Megan, that's awesome. One of the great things about this for us so far is we are pretty new. Pickle has barely been around for 2 months in its current form. All the great feedback we've been getting from people, messages, Facebook, emails, Instagram, just everywhere of like, hey, I love this, but what about this? What about that? Hey, is this task there? And that feedback is really helping us shape the development of it. We've already added 10, 15 features that, a bunch of us sitting in a room working on this for a year and a half never even thought of. But within 2 weeks, our users are telling us, oh, you got to do this.
Yeah.
And light bulb goes off for us. So we love hearing that from the users, particularly at this stage, because it is the early stages, and Pickle is taking shape and forming every single day. So, to anyone out there who is using it, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, tell us what it needs more of, what it needs less of, and help us shape this moving forward so that we can deliver on our mission of Pickle being really the simplest and smartest way to take care of the home.
Yeah, man, that's good.
So as one of your new users, I actually have a question about the way that this thing works, because one, I'm slightly competitive, and there's some things on my list that I can't achieve because they're not in my home. And so I was wondering if there's a way that I can remove items in my to-do list that don't apply to me. And so, like, specifically for me, I don't have a sump pump. And so it's telling me that I need to check my sump pump. And I'm like, I can't do that because I don't have one. I could lie and say that I checked it.
You could just come do mine.
Okay,
yeah, that's
go
what
do
it's
Kevin's.
for.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually put that in yours, by the way.
There we go. Problem solved. You don't have a sump pump, take care of your neighbors.
That's right.
No, you know what? That's a great thought, and it goes back to kind of what we were just talking about. We sat around for a year and a half, and the thought didn't even occur to us that, like, hey, some people are just going to have tasks on there that aren't a fit for them. We need to give them a way to just clear it out without it hurting their happy home score and having that smiling house avatar.
Because I want the full smile.
And a user hit us on Facebook and said, hey, there's some stuff on here that isn't applicable to me. Can I remove it? And we said, oh, wait a second. We totally whiffed on that. Boom, it's on the feature list. It's coming.
Cool. Because, inevitably, despite all of your hard work, there's going to be something that somebody wants differently, right? Well, I know
different.
Absolutely. Everybody is different, and it's like everybody wants something just a little bit customized, which I think is exactly what y'all are going for, and it's just working toward it. So I also noticed that there is a subscription-based option with Pickle as well. It is free, and all the things that we've been talking about is free. What does that premium feature give you?
So the premium Pickle Premium, which don't tell anyone, but it's not actually active yet. But
okay,
we didn't, but you just did.
A few buttons and go through the process. You might get it hooked up with it for an extended period of time when it launches. For being one of the first people, you didn't hear that from me though.
Oh.
So Pickle Premium, we do have to make money somehow. Pickle itself is always going to be free. Pickle Premium is going to be kind of the upper tier. So some of the features we'll be building into that is customized tasks. So things that aren't on our task list, but you want to get in there, you'll be able to create your own task, create your own schedule for it. Account sharing is going to be on there. Some other things that we are looking at is to manage multiple properties for either those of us lucky enough to own multiple homes, or to say a landlord or something like that who has several homes that they want to watch for under one account, and other things we think of along the way that not really ready to divulge yet, but are in the works. So Pickle Premium is going to be the subscription model. Not active now, but like I said, if you go through, click a few buttons, you might be on a list, and you might get a few goodies thrown your way.
Cool. I love it. No, that's
I like goodies.
I do too, man. I'm all, and that's the that you talk about you being competitive.
Yeah.
That's competitive in me. I'm like, what? I get something for free? I'll do it. I do have a little thought here, and this is just an FYI. I was actually, so I own a camper, and I was actually just thinking the other day, like, I wish I had a list of maintenance things that needed to be done on a camper. There are hundreds of thousands of people that own campers. So as y'all,
especially now,
oh my goodness, they're all over the place. If you drive down any highway, backwoods, wherever, you're going to see campers. So when you're ready to expand, hit me up, and we'll talk about how you can expand into camper maintenance as well, because that might be a niche.
I'll just say that on a whiteboard somewhere right now is the thought, Pickle for cars.
Oh, yes.
And this is kind of along that line.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and oddly enough, that was from an early beta tester. They were using Pickle. They said, this is awesome. I didn't know any of this about my house. I'm definitely going to use this when you guys release it. Do one for cars, please.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, a bunch of us, you get tunnel vision when you work on things sometimes. A bunch of us sitting there going, oh, yeah, we could do the same exact thing for cars, too. So I think that it's a fantastic idea. It's in the thought process. If there are any app developers out there listening to this, you didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, and you probably, yeah, exactly. You probably also didn't hear that it's going to be called Lemon instead of Pickle.
I like it. Everyone out here taking my job.
That's right. Oh man. Well, I really do like that premium thing. It really does. It offers you a more customized experience. And I like that. And I think one of the things that I just kind of want to say about that is I know for most people, it's like we get subscribed to death, right? It's like, oh, we got Disney Plus, we got Netflix, we've got this, we've got that, and it's like all of a sudden we have all of these subscriptions. But one thing I just want to throw out there, if you're listening to this thinking, okay, because right now it shows up on the website as $9.99 a month, so you're talking $120 for a year. If that keeps me from a $25,000 repair bill, I think $120 for a customized experience would probably be worth it. That's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
So, anyway, just throwing that out
there. That was our thought process as well. And there will most likely be a reduced rate annual subscription. So if you don't want to pay $10 a month for $120 a year, most likely when it goes live, you'll be able to get a year for $100 if you want to go up front with it.
Cool. Yep, I like it.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So, Josh, one of the things I wanted to make sure and talk about, because when I was going through the sign-up process with Pickle, one of the things that came up was the reason they wanted your address is so that they could give you accurate information around weather. And I assume that has to do with like sprinklers, but I was wondering if that had anything to do with like potential inclement weather situations that might come up with different kinds of home maintenance that you might do. I think you mentioned before the show you lived in the Houston area, so you're probably a little familiar with hurricanes. Well, and you're in Miami now. You guys,
Miami now.
Yeah. So, is that something that Pickle does? I mean, because am I right in assuming that it has most of that information has to do with like the use of sprinklers and other things like that?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things might have gone out today, if not coming very soon, is actually geographically different tasks for precisely that reason. Because myself in Miami, you guys in the Houston area, hurricanes are a thing. They're a fact of life. You need to know how to prepare your house for it. What the deal is. Someone in Indiana, not so much. So we want to make sure that we can get people, the right home care tips for their specific location, for their specific weather patterns. Someone in the Chicago suburbs, they need to be reminded to salt the driveway and to deal with all the snow stuff. I'll never have to deal with that. So that is a part of it. Longer term with it, where we'd like to be able to go is to actually provide notifications on severe weather alerts, so we can get right on time. Hey, there's a tornado coming. Make sure you're in the path of a hurricane. Here's this many days. Make sure you do this. This many days. Make sure you do that. So we can get more real time thing. But for right now, what it allows us to do is to draw on the database that we have available to us from the start on the insurance side of things, and knowing what inclement weather is localized to your region, what are the real threats for people in your area versus other areas. And then we just hope to be able to build on that and provide more customization, more notifications, more real-time helpful information to you as we go along with it.
Man, that's I love that. Like Craig and I have done like a hurricane preparedness episode and stuff like this, but I think that, man, if all I had to do was sit back and wait for an app to tell me when to do stuff, oh my goodness. My ability to be successful in life would go way up, because right now it's just kind of like, oh, that needs to be done eventually,
Yeah.
And half the stuff I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Eventually out when the hurricane's coming.
I know.
Josh, did I miss this earlier? Is there a way to set set Pickle up to where it can notify you via text message?
In development, not currently ready. But it is a request we've had. Really, the notifications have been high on a lot of people's lists to say, oh, love what you're doing, but for me to get the most out of this is, hey, tell me when I got to do this. Tell me when I got to do that. Because if I knew when to do all this, I might not need Pickle. So we're looking at all the various ways that we can remind people at the right time, hey, this is what you need to get on right now.
Yeah, cool.
Well, so then on that subject, then, I mean, I realize you guys are still new, which is part of the reason I was excited to talk to you guys. I want to make sure and get the most recent information out to our audience. But what are some of the updates that are coming down the pike for Pickle that you're most excited about? Because I mean, it has a lot of cool features already, but I know you got to have some new stuff in the pipeline that you're excited about that is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, for sure. The geographical information split's coming very soon. If it didn't get out the door today, but that's coming very soon. The removal of tasks that are no good. Thank you to the users who suggested it. That's coming very soon. What really has me personally excited is the native app development, because we know that's what that's the number one thing everyone has been asking for. They want to go to the App Store. They want to be able to just have it right there, and they want those instant notifications. One of the other cool things that we're working on, I've got a couple family members who have told me, hey, you really need to do this, is the Pickle Kids, where you'll be able to have kind of like a chore and task list that you can share with the kids and teach them how to take care of the home they live in, even if it's just simple things of the stuff we all have to do is taking out the garbage and mowing the lawn and that kind of stuff, as a way to get the family, more involved with it.
That's
one
awesome.
Of the other things, yeah, we wanted to really, everyone lives in the house together, so we want to be able to get everyone involved. We've been talking about the best way to get the Pickle community a little more connected with each other, because right now everyone, they go to highpickle.com, they set up the app, they've got the stuff for their home, and then they're all doing it themselves. So we're going to be putting together our Facebook group for Pickle members, and we're looking at some ways to build some friendly competition in there. We don't want anyone at each other's throats, but do the most tasks this month, rack up the most happy home points, and win a Lowe's gift card, or something this or that. So those are the kind of things, so we can really build a sense of community around the Pickle people, around our users, who we all know care for their homes and can help each other out and provide guidance to each other, and doing those sorts of things to really build up a sense of, we all want the same thing. We all want a happy home. We all want to be happy and feel safe and secure in our homes. Let's find ways we can do that together. So those are the sorts of things that really get me excited about the project in the future.
Yeah, and I love the one about kids, because for a lot of people, they feel inadequate to do something themselves, let alone to teach their kids how to do it. And so, if I had something in my hands that could give me step-by-step instructions on helping them achieve something, then, teaching them a skill and teaching them some responsibility, all of those things are really, really good. I do have a question, and I just wondered if this is something that is already either in the works or being considered. You mentioned that maybe there's a task that you don't recommend a homeowner do, whatever that task is, and that you probably need to hire a professional to take care of that situation. Is there going to be an opportunity to find a contractor that performs that task within the app?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's something that is we've been looking at since day one, and we're trying to find the best way to do that right now. Whether that's going to be working with contractors individually and bringing them in, or perhaps linking up with someone like your guest from your last episode from the builder market who built that great platform, and just bringing in third-party verified users and having that there. Yeah. But we understand that a lot of the tasks that we're telling users they have to do, they're simply not able to from an ability standpoint, or they don't have the right tools, or they simply don't want to, and they would rather just pay someone else to do it.
Sure.
So there's an opportunity there for us to provide help to the homeowners that are using Pickle, and that, as I've said a couple times already, that's really our goal, is to find ways to help people take care of their home. And doing that, directing people to the right help for the right job is a major function of that. So that is definitely in the works. We're trying to determine what is the best course of action to pull that off that is most beneficial to the user base. And once we have that final answer, you're going to see that as part of the platform. But what we didn't want to do is turn Pickle into an advertising vehicle for folks. Mm-hmm. We want Pickle to be free. I mean, you go to highpickle.com, there's a join free button. We want that always to be there. We always want Pickle to be free, and we don't want you to sign up and then get thrown a bunch of ads in your face, or us to monetize your data that you give us, and us go selling that off to people. So, we want to find the right way to be able to provide the help that people need to take care of jobs that are outside of their scope of expertise, in a way that doesn't disturb the user experience.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, what I heard from that is, you're in Miami, Brett's over in LA, so here in Houston, we just need to host you guys and have the high tech homeowners summit.
That's right.
And we'll get you hooked up. So
yeah, exactly.
I love it. I got to get out there. I was telling you guys right before we jumped on, I can't find good fajitas in Miami. So
that's right. It's a good excuse to come.
They're all over. They're all over. We got pick a place. We could take you. Well, so here's what I love about this so much, Josh, is that we on the Homeowner Show, our whole agenda in doing this podcast for 158 episodes now for 3 years is to help people own their home better, and to give tools to people about niches and contractors out there that they don't know. They need a plumber. They have no idea how to go hire a plumber because they don't know the right questions to ask. They're afraid they're going to get taken for a ride. All of these sorts of things, and we're really trying to close that gap a little bit to really educate people on how to own their home better. And so one of the things that we do whenever we have a contractor on here is we ask them, like, if I were to be looking for a plumber like you, how would I go about finding that contractor and not finding someone that's just going to, eat my lunch, and ultimately maybe not even fix the problem that I've got. And so how do I find that? Well, I think your biggest challenge there, from what you're telling me, is how do you vet some of these people to make sure that the contractors that you suggest are people that are trustworthy, are people that are going to go out there and do a good job. I don't know what all that looks like, but what I do know is that if you can figure that piece of the puzzle out, you're going to significantly increase your audience, because people are going to know, I've got a trusted source here. Not only am I being told when something needs to be done, how to do it, because I don't know how to do it, but now if I don't want to do it, or I can't do it, don't have the time, whatever the case may be, now I know I've got these options that they've already vetted for me on some level that can give me some information on how to do this. So, like, it's like this most beautiful combination of what the Homeowner Show is trying to do and what you are able to provide that could be potentially huge for the average Joe homeowner out there, which is the majority of homeowners, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that was really why when we got the message from you guys at first, we're like, oh man, this is perfect. These guys are, they're doing the same kind of thing we're trying to do, just from a different angle. So it was a perfect fit, because, your whole show is about helping people take care of their homes, finding the right people, and how do you do that, and how do you identify the right people, versus these guys are just out there taking jobs and causing more damage than they solve. So it perfectly lined up when we got that message. We're like, oh, this is great. And that's really why we've taken our time with not just launching with just go and talk to these guys to get this fixed, because we really want to make sure that we approach it in the right way. Because like you were saying, we can tell someone they need to do something and they can recognize that they need help. But if we steer them into help that doesn't really help them and then takes their money, then we've lost their trust. And once we've lost their trust, then we've lost them forever. And we're not doing what we set out to do. So that's why we've taken a very measured approach to having that as a part of the platform, because it's something that we recognize that we needed to do from day one. But like I was saying before, we want to make sure it's done in the correct manner so that it doesn't interrupt the user experience, and they know that, hey, if they find a contractor to fix issue to get a bunch of bees out of rocks by their pool, it's going to be a guy who can do the job correctly, and isn't going to rip them off or make the problem worse.
Yeah, that's I don't envy you trying to figure out how to find who those contractors are and partner up with them. But the thing is, I mean, the bigger this grows, they'll come to you and those sorts of things. So, but yeah, it's a huge problem out there. How do I know to call Craig if I need bee removal? How do I know? Well, you got to do your research, and that takes time. It takes effort. It takes a lot of research, and so it's tough. So, Craig, you got any other questions?
Especially in an area like this where, for most of us, Craig, you're a contractor, so you know that, you know this stuff. Someone like myself, I don't. So I don't even know what I'm looking for when I look for a contractor. Like, you could say, oh yeah, I'm the best plumber in Miami. I've worked on, I do this, that, the other. Like, all of that's Greek to me. So, even the searching for it, I don't know what I'm looking for right from the jump. So that process is so difficult. So yeah, we take it very seriously, and like you were saying, kind of feel the dreamsy, as it were. If you build it, they will come. And we recognize that if we build a great app that helps millions of homeowners take care of their home in a very simple and straightforward and fun manner, then the other pieces of the puzzle will arrive.
Yeah, and one of the things, I mean, just speaking from on the contractor side of things, it's a difficult hill to climb because I don't think a lot of people realize like how long you have to be at it in order to get any sort of traction. Because when you start trying to bump up against, and this is something Megan just mentioned in the comments, is like when you start bumping up against things like Angie's List, on these pay to play platforms. Well, if you're not one of the biggest fish out there, like you can't afford to play. And so like your only means left then is just your reputation and the reviews that you get on things like Facebook and Google and other and other platforms like that. And so you really have to build this organic traffic in order to even get the attention of people. And so that's part of what makes it so difficult for homeowners is because they intuitively know this, but at the same time the tools that these pay to play platforms provide for them are so easy for them to get access to that it almost becomes the price that you pay for getting worse service from a bigger fish almost becomes it's almost not worth it to go find the better person sometimes. So it's difficult out there for small business guys sometimes, and it just takes a long time. And I encourage anybody out there that, and even you guys, I mean, like, because it's probably not going to happen overnight, but like, it's one of those deals. Like, I think if you guys stick with it, just like anybody else, if you stick with it, if you have a consistent message and you produce a quality product, you're eventually going to win the day. And I'll say, like, in my business, most of my new clients come from bad experiences with bigger companies.
Yeah. Yep. I would bet that's true for sure. So
yeah.
Well, let me ask this question, Josh. What have we not hit on? What have we not covered that you want to make sure that somebody knows about Pickle?
I think we touched on a lot of it. For me, the important thing that people out there know is that you can find us on highpickle.com. But our goal is to give you the simplest and smartest way to take care of your home. And it is it is a new app. So what would allow us to, achieve that mission is to hear from you, hear from the homeowners. What do you need? What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you wish you had? And the more feedback we get from people, good and bad, a lot of times the bad is way more helpful than the good. Although we all love being told we're awesome. The more feedback we get from homeowners on what would help them make their home a happier place, what would make them a happier homeowner, the more we can build into this and the better product that we can have for people. So I don't think it's something we necessarily haven't touched on, but it's something that I just wanted to really reiterate. Check us out at highpickle.com. Play around for free, totally free. No credit card needed. It's totally free. And tell us what you love. Tell us what you hate. Tell us what it needs. Tell us what it doesn't need. And the more you tell us, because we are in such early stages, the more influence you're going to have on the future shape of this. And like you guys were just saying a minute ago, if we just continue to stay focused on building the best pickle, the best product that we can, then we'll get to where we want to go. And then we'll have happy homeowners, and then everyone's thrilled.
Absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely.
One thing I'll add to that Josh, because I think this is some people's hesitancy with free sometimes is because you have to give your email address. You guys haven't spammed me at all. I think I got an email since I signed up, and that was I think that was 3 days ago. And that's not to say that you guys aren't communicative. I just don't want to get 10 emails a day from people when I sign up for free services, and that has definitely been part of the upside of the experience with the app so far is like you guys are not bothering me, so to speak.
Yeah.
I get to use it for what it is. So that's been a great upside. So if we don't have anything else, Kev, I think it's time for everybody's favorite portion of the program.
Yeah, absolutely. Because right now, right before your eyes, it is time for the Final Four.
The Final Four.
That's right. The Final Four questions we ask each and every one of our guests. And so, Josh, you are our newest victim. So here we go. We're just going to kick these things off right now. So what is the must-have tool you won't leave your house without?
So as I mentioned, we were chatting before, I listened to a couple of episodes, and one of the things I picked up on is, everyone says the phone, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to say the phone. But, I don't carry around a lot of physical tools in my day to day. So I think the most important tool that I carry around when I leave the house, I think, is my attitude. How do I want to take on the day? How am I going to react to what happens to me during the day? What am I going to give to my day? I know that if I approach every day with, I'm excited that I get to work on this, I get to accomplish this, I get to do this. If I don't let the distractions, the problems, the setbacks get in my head too much, and I stay focused and I stay positive, then I know at the end of the day, I'm going to be happy with where my day went. So I would say my attitude is the most important tool that I leave the house with every day.
Man, I love that. That's we've not gotten that one before. That's not one of the answers we've ever had.
No, that was a sneaky way to get a motivational speech in there.
It was
I like
good. It was, but it wasn't just.
I like it.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
All right. Next question. So, you're working on your house. Something's going on, and you're like, man, this is not going the way I wanted it to. What's a project or a job that you walked away from?
Well, if we're talking jobs, how much time do we have?
It's the internet. We have all the time we want.
Yeah. I've walked away from a number of jobs in my day. The quickest one was when I was in high school and worked in a food court, a little sandwich shop, and I set fire to the place. So
Oh,
no.
You might have been asked
it wasn't
to
a
walk away
bad
from
fire.
that.
It put out quickly. But needless to say, I walked away and there was no day two. Yeah. So projects, I think I've mentioned a couple times, I'm not much when it comes to home care and repair and those things. I'm one of those people that like I paid someone off Thumbtack to hang blinds. Like, that's how bad I am. So a job I walked away from many years ago when I was starting my career. I was doing B2B sales, really high impact, dialing for dollars phone stuff. And it was a cutthroat business. It was if you've ever seen Boiler Room, Wall Street, any of those kinds of movies where it's a bunch of guys banging on phones and yelling at people and just being a general jerk, I was one of those guys. And I made some decent money doing it, so I can't complain about that. But, after a few years, I just had to walk away because I wasn't feeling good about it. I wasn't feeling good about how I carried myself. I wasn't feeling good about what I was selling. I wasn't feeling good about how I related to the people I was working with. So that was something I had to walk away from to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go find something else to do. I might not make as much money, but I'm going to sleep a lot easier at night.
Sleep is good.
Yeah, most definitely. No, that's good. Very, very good. All right, third question. How do you wind down at the end of a long day?
Well, as we mentioned, I do live in Miami. I'm fortunate enough that I'm a block and a half from the Atlantic Ocean. So like many Miami people, I'm going to tell you I go to the beach. Either I'll grab a coffee from the shop around the corner and go and sit, or I'll go for a run, or I'll just go and hang out. The beach is always calming, always amazing, and helps me stay centered no matter what's happening. So the beach is my happy place.
Man, that's a good answer. If you live near something like that. It's a great answer. That's what you should be doing.
I think I'd be angry at you if you lived near the beach and you didn't take advantage of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. No, very, very good. All right. Fourth and final question. What's one of the best pieces of wisdom or advice you've ever received?
So you mentioned kind of, I flipped answer one and turned it into like a little motivational speech.
Yeah.
So when I was first thinking about this one, everything I thought of was right along those lines. It was everything from like every, motivational speaker and, your hustle post on Instagram and all that crap. So to take something that I heard a little while ago on a podcast by Mark Bernard, who's a writer, and he put this T-shirt because it was a slogan that he threw out on the podcast one day, and his fan base loved it. He built a T-shirt on it, and I absolutely love it. What are the language barriers here? I don't think we cleared that one up.
But just put a bleep in front of anything that might.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll bleep it. All right.
Yeah.
So, this great piece of advice: be humble. Let MFers know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Very, very good. Very good. Well, listen, man, this has been really, really good. I feel like as some things continue to progress with your business, with highpickle.com and with Pickle itself and all that kind of stuff, I feel like we're going to have you back on to give us an update on the things that are happening, and because honestly, this is something that would be very, very easy for us as a podcast to promote and to help out with, just because, like you said, the niche fits so perfectly well, for sure. So
yeah, thank you so much. We were thrilled to hear from you guys. Like you were saying, I mean, it's perfect match. We knew like, hey, we got to talk to these guys. And not only do we have to talk to them, but we need to be listening to them because they've been at this for a number of years. We're in 180 something episodes in the business. These are the exact guys that we need to be paying attention to. This is the exact audience we're trying to reach. So we'd be more than happy to come back. Craig, you're on board already, so you'll be getting the emails. You'll be getting the updates as new features and things roll out. I'll probably be bugging you when we got new stuff. Like, hey, let me come back on and tell you about this or that. So yeah, we'd be more than happy to come back anytime. In the meantime, everyone can find us at highpickle.com. We're on all the socials at Pickle Home Care. So reach out, join, let us know how to make it even better. And yeah, we would definitely love to talk to you guys again in the future.
Awesome. And if people have questions, is there like a good email or something like that for people to get a hold of you guys with?
Team at highpickle.com. That's the email. You can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram.
Did we lose him?
we just lost him.
All right. Well, we got the What? All right, sorry about that, guys. Sometimes we have technical difficulties, but we'll make sure and get all the information up on the up on the show notes. And until next week, Kev, anything else?
I think that's it, man. Leave us a message, review, info at homeownershow.com. Go leave us a rating review on Apple, iTunes, or anywhere that you listen to our podcast. But until next time, man, see you later.
See ya.